There was a point, and if you sit in genuine quiet long enough, you can locate it with surprising precision. When you stopped trusting your own instincts as the primary authority on your own life. It wasn't dramatic. There was no decision, no moment you'd remember. It happened gradually. In 1,000 small choices where you picked the safe answer over the true one. Each one reasonable on its own. Together, they added up to a slow migration away from yourself. So gradual, it felt like nothing at all, until you looked up one day and couldn't find yourself anywhere in the life you were living. I want to show you exactly how that happens, because it happens in 4 stages, and knowing them lets you find where you actually are. The first stage is adaptation. As a child, you learn to read what earned warmth and what created distance in the people you depended on. That's healthy, necessary. It's how a child belongs. It only becomes a problem when it runs into adulthood as an unexamined default. When you're still managing the expectations of a family system you're no longer dependent on. The second stage is suppression. You stop expressing the parts of yourself that got a negative response. And then, this is where the real damage accumulates. You begin to stop feeling them. The creative work you set aside, the anger you've been swallowing, the grief for a self that was never fully allowed to exist. Suppression protects you from the immediate cost of being authentic. It also slowly separates you from yourself. The third stage is substitution, and this is the most deceptive one. Borrowed purpose takes full root. You begin to genuinely want the things you were told to want. You lose reliable access to the original signal, your own authentic desire, and the substitute feels, for a long time, like the real thing. This is why the suffering here is so confusing. It arrives in the middle of apparent success. You're doing everything right by every external measure, and it still feels wrong. The fourth stage is recognition. This is where most people arrive at work like this. Something cracks open, a loss, an achievement that disappoints, a moment of unexpected silence where you hear yourself clearly for the first time in years. That crack is not a breakdown. It's the beginning of the return. This fifth dimension measures exactly this journey. Consciousness development. It maps the deepest thing of the 5, your relationship to your own inner authority. Whether you're running your life from the outside in or from the inside out, and it maps it across 4 developmental levels. Let me define them. The first is emerging. You're relying primarily on external validation to know if you're okay. Reactivity is high, you get pulled off center easily, and you stay there. Access to your own knowing is limited. The second is developing. Self-awareness is growing. You're starting to tell the difference between what's authentically yours and what you borrowed, but you're still significantly moved by approval. You can see the borrowed voice. You just can't always override it yet. The third is expanding. You have substantial self-knowledge. You can increasingly operate from your own inner authority. And, this is the marker, you're growing resilient in the face of external pressure. Someone can disapprove of you and you don't collapse. The fourth is advanced. Stable access to inner authority. You consistently operate from your own center, from first cause, and from that stable place, something opens that wasn't available before. Full emotional intelligence and genuine compassion. Because when you're no longer defending a borrowed self, you finally have the room to actually see other people. Emerging, developing, expanding, advanced. The daily assessment tracks 3 signals: energy quality, self-awareness depth, and daily insights received, your growing capacity to hear yourself clearly. Now, here's the finding that matters most. Movement through these levels is not automatic. It does not come with age. It does not come with experience. Plenty of people get older and more experienced without ever moving off emerging in the areas that matter most. Development requires intentional inner work. But, and this is the promise, it's available to anyone willing to do that work. Anyone, from wherever they're starting. So how do you know when you have it? How do you feel yourself moving up the stages? You know you're moving when your reactivity drops, when the things that used to knock you off center for a whole day become things you notice and recover from quickly. That falling recovery time is the clearest sign of developmental movement there is. You know you're moving when someone disapproves of you and you stay standing. When you can hold a position, make a choice, be yourself, and not need the approval to survive it. You can feel the difference in your body. You know you're moving when you become the person others come to. Not because you have all the answers. At the higher stages, you're more aware than ever of how much you don't know. But because you have your own answers. There's a quality of safety in the room around someone who actually knows themselves. That's what advanced development radiates, without trying. And here's what makes this trackable rather than vague. The return happens the same way the drift did, one honest moment at a time. Identity eroded in 1,000 small surrenders. It rebuilds in 1,000 small returns. Each time you choose the true answer over the safe one, you move, a little, back toward your own authority. And the score captures the accumulation your daily experience can't feel on its own. That's the gift of measuring it. On any given day, the movement is too small to feel. Over 90 days, it's undeniable. The data shows you the distance traveled back to yourself. This is the dimension that ties the other four together: presence, well-being, satisfaction, meaning. They all rise as you move up these stages, because they all depend on you operating from your own center instead of someone else's. So find out where you're actually starting, which stage, in which parts of your life. That's your baseline, and your baseline is the starting line of the whole journey back. Take the free assessment at consciousnesstrack.app/quiz. 5 minutes, no email required, completely free. It maps exactly where you are across all 5 dimensions of your inner life and shows you how far you've already come. I'm Candace. I'll see you in the next one.